Welcome to Weirdo Award 2025. This is the third time where we are doing this game award. While I have played so many games, over 200 games, I talk about some of them that has impacted me, and finally, give 3 awards. The following awards are Best Game 2025, plain and simple. Best Game Non-2025, games I have played and or finished on 2025 that did not come out on that year. And finally, Best Overall Games, where every game that I played and or finished on 2025 is on the table. And to make it more spicy, each award will only be given to one game. So no games can get no more than one award. As always, we have the house rules. 1. No fan games. That includes the fan ported because that's a slippery slope I don't want to get into. 2. No early access game. However, if a game comes out of the early access, we will consider it as this year's release. And one small rule, no Deltarune this year, since technically it's not the early access, but let's be honest here, the game is not finished. And we also have guest appearances to show their love and their own Game of the Year as well. Thank you so much for joining this year's award show. Without further ado, let's start off with this little gem. Wanderstop is about finding about yourself and the struggles of progress and time. It's pretty much making tea in this weird tea contraption machine while farming ingredients for said tea. It's a relaxing game that doesn't rush you to make progress while exploring and interacting with customers and understanding their own strengths and flaws. I'm gonna be honest, I haven't finished the game as of yet. I just wanna have time to just sit down, relax, and finish the playthrough. It's just when I have time to play games, I play other games because, well, it just sparked my interest right now, or it's something the latest in the thread, or because I want to make something around it that is a YouTube content. So, yeah. Irony that even I need to have some time to relax, eh? The presentation and the music is pretty good. I really like the music, which, fun fact, was composed by C418, aka the original composer for Minecraft. And if you don't believe me, go and listen to Sweden and come back here. No, not the Sweden national anthem, Sweden by C418. I will say there will be topics that isn't cozy. There's some that goes deep in our character's mind, and the mental struggles he has is dark. Nothing to lose points here. In fact, I actually really like it. But be prepared when you want to play this game. Overall, I really like the game, and I am happy that I played it, despite not finishing it. And according to my friends, the ending will be something I am not to be expected, which I'm very keen to find out. Game like this is always a wonder. You can just sit back and relax and take your time. But what if you don't have time? What if you can't just sit? What if you just need to run? HASTE is a roguelite running game. Your objective is simple. Run from the corrupted thing chasing you and survive from everything. Missiles, obstacles, whatever this is. You get the idea. You can buy perks and everything via shop, play endless mode and also have multiplayer mode. Which sadly I have nobody who wants to do it with me. I'm not lonely, I just don't have friends. Wait. Jokes aside, this game is fun. The presentation is amazing and the music is pretty good. Though, to be honest, I feel like bopping with only one. Not saying others aren't decent, in fact, I really like a lot of them. Just one sticks in my head the most. But overall, the concept is just run and survive, and it just clicks. And the story is there, it's not the main thing, but I do like what we got nonetheless. And when you're done with said story, you can also play endless mode if that is your cup of tea. I don't know what else to say other than it is amazing and I highly recommend getting this game. It's just that good. But let's be honest here, running from time is so annoying. Wish we could just not think about time and just go back and retry our mistakes. Well, that wish is both a blessing and a curse. I already talked about this game in details in one of my videos, so I won't go too much here. But essentially, this is a time loop game. And oh boy, you will feel things. This is one of those games that did time loop really well. And I'm quite happy about it. You see the ins and outs, the struggles of yes and no's, the ups and downs, and the mental struggle of knowing you need to loop again and again and again. This is a turn-based RPG with rock, paper, scissors element behind it. But it is still turn-based RPG. It is made in RPG Maker after all. But oh man, I love this. It is very clear the focus is more so in story than anything else. And it is done really well. But if you like turn-based RPG and or RPG Maker-like games, I highly recommend getting In Stars and Time. It can get dark, oh so dark. But the story, the presentation, and yes, even the gameplay, it is something to remember for. Speaking of turn-based RPG, I think it's time to introduce our first guest. So, please welcome our returning guest and someone who also plays too many games, Nat.
Well, thanks again for having me, Maxim. I'm so excited to talk about my favorite game of 2025 because honestly, I played quite a few. And by that I mean I played 11. Is that a lot? Well, it's a lot for me, and today I'm excited to talk about a game no one is expecting, and that's Clair Obscur Expedition 33. This just in, I'm being told that it's actually a very common take, and I should apologize for my very milquetoast opinion, but I can't help it, the game's incredible. And I think the best way to convey just how great this game is to talk about my top 7 things that I love about Expedition 33. Number 7. This game has the best hook in gaming I've seen in a long time, if not ever. It only takes about a half hour until your stomach dips and your jaw drops as you realize what this game is actually about. I'm sorry, what you think this game is about, because you learn some things here or there. I don't think I've ever been so on board so quickly from a video game narrative, but I knew from that moment I can't put this game down, I need to see it through. And I rarely feel that sensation. Number 6 is that this game not only has music that's fantastic, but also entirely unique from any other video game soundtrack you've ever heard. If you listen to this album without any idea of where it came from, there's no way your first thought would be, oh, surely that must be a video game. Now, I'm not going to describe it in musical terms because frankly, that's not really my forte. In fact, I don't even know if forte is actually a music term, but it kind of sounds like one. The best way I could describe it is a soundtrack that's moving from beginning to end, regardless of where you are, what you're doing, or what kind of stakes are actually on the table. Sometimes they're high stakes, sometimes they're low stakes, but the music emotionally carries you no matter what. Number 5 is the game's robust and only a little bit intimidating power-up system. The combination of collecting picos and leveling up your skill points allows for an insane amount of customizable strategies that have actual successful potential. I'm gonna be honest, I'm usually the guy whose eyes roll over as soon as a tech tree is placed in front of me, but for some reason I put up with it in Expedition 33, and I'd like to think that is through intentional game design and not just me picking and choosing random games to pay attention to, but that could be something. Let's put a pin in that. Number 4 is a question I want to ask you. Have you ever played a game where every enemy felt like a boss? Not necessarily in terms of difficulty, but in terms of combat intricacies and badassery. Because that's Expedition 33, baby. Whether it's a random goon on the street, an anthropomorphic lion with Wolverine claws, or a shopkeeper that turns giant and wants to fight for little to no reason, each enemy is unique and has a lot of care put into them to the point where you think they could be boss fights in another video game. And then of course they have the actual boss fights, which are just, incredible. That's all, just incredible. Number 3 is a beautifully painted art style that mixes in the perfect combination of realism and imagination. Or you could simplify it as surrealism, which, to be honest, echoes not just the art style, but the entire game itself. Whether it be gameplay, the narrative, the world, and every little visual effect that happens on screen, this is all connected with the surreal, painted art style that amplifies every aspect of the game. It's not pretty just for the sake of being pretty. It's meticulously getting into the weeds of all that's good and holy, and finding how do we make it holier with our presentation. In other words, it's a completely finished painting. There's no wrinkle, there's no missing stroke. It's presented exactly as it needs to be presented down to the minuscule level. And while I often value art direction over graphical fidelity, it's worth mentioning the graphics, quote unquote, are also superb. We hear the term every frame a painting quite often, but I think it applies especially so to Expedition 33. Number 2 is the grand narrative with living characters and jaw-dropping twists. Okay, I'm gonna let you guys in on a secret. The only thing you need to make a good story is good characters. Characters who have living emotions, motivations, struggles. Anything that makes a character feel human can make a good story. Once you have that, which Expedition 33 does, that's when you could start crafting your plot, adding your roller coaster ups and downs, various twists and turns, spirals, or in this case, ramping off the track completely and landing on another. Once you have those two things, you have an impeccable story. And that's the only thing with the narrative I could tell you because you really need to experience it yourself. Number 1 is a confession. I'm not an RPG guy. I love strategies and story and everything else RPGs have to offer, but I cannot stand gameplay that makes me fall asleep. But there's been a handful of RPGs that have bridged that gap for me, one being Undertale or the Paper Mario series. But pending any potential recency bias that I have, Expedition 33 might have the most engaging combat system for an RPG that I've experienced. And the craziest part is that it's just glorified QuickTime events. Instead of buttons on a screen, you have monsters with animations that you have to learn and adapt to rather quickly. Usually, the first handful of hits from a monster will get you pretty good, but before you run out of HP, or in some cases, run out of revives, something clicks and you just figure it out. And there's very few things as gratifying as beating these enemies through the skin of your teeth, with all resources expended, little to no HP, and just really bloody characters. Like, they get so bloody, I wish I had a wipe. A massive issue with turn-based combat is that it frequently breaks immersion, but here, there are real-time elements that are put so seamlessly inside cinematics. And these cinematics go hard. I never thought a system that's this solved and concrete would be as entertaining as it is, yet it is phenomenally fun. Everything you've heard about this game is true. It is incredible, and despite my need to be a contrarian, there's no other game I could pick to be my Game of the Year 2025.
Thank you, Pat. I've also played Expedition 33, so I want to share my opinion on this game as well. So, hit it. First of all, Pat, yes, forte is a musical term. It is the F symbol in musical seat, which means go loud. So good job, Pat. I'm proud of you. Since we are already talking about music, let's start with that. The music is fantastic. It's been a while that music just shook the core of me in gaming. I think the last time it ever happened to me was with the game Gris. There are so many music that when I downloaded the official album, it was, and I kid you not, 12.2 gigabytes of music. Now those music had duplicate tracks, aka one was MP3, the other one was .wav, and MP3 is a less file size than .wav, but still, that is a significant amount of music. I think that is the most I have ever downloaded from a single video game. So the music variety is amazing and I love so many tracks. Presentation is pretty well done as well. Yes, it has that Unreal Engine 5 vibe that you get in some other games, and you do sometimes see that here. But when you see it, you see an amazing presentation, and you will see it a lot. How the sword swings, the spell hits, how everything just moves. It truly looks amazing. And then the story. Oh, the story is so good. It was one of those moments where I just sat there and thought, wow, what a game. It has its highs and lows, the dramas and the twists, and I just love the character interaction, how it is so human and natural to joke around in serious situations at times, and how each of them just talk. I am not a writer, so trust me when I say character interaction is good. One thing I really don't like is when the heroes and villains talk to each other, yap, 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 and goes nowhere. You know the trope, well, they just stand there in the middle of the fight and just keeps on talking, not trying to make sure the other understand where they're coming from, and it's just so annoying. I can't show any from this game, of course, but there were moments where they were just there and they wanted to talk and be like, please understand where we're coming from. And they genuinely were talking to each other because they didn't want to have fight. Fight was the last thing. But when fight was the only option, they fought. And I love those moments so much, and I hope we see more from this and other games coming forward. And then the gameplay. Oh, I love the gameplay. Having the choice to dodge or parry is so rewarding, especially when you parry or hit and you have that counter hit animation. Mwah! So rewarding. Unlike Pat, I am very big into RPG, more specifically turn-based RPG. But with this kind of system, where you can dodge, pose, hit, and they nail that so well in this. However, there are big complaints I have. The UIs and tech tree. The UI, I'm sorry, it sucks. From learning to equip gears, combat UI, it just feels janky, and I can see what they were trying to do. It just didn't work in my opinion. And each character can only have 6 moves per combat, which is dumb. I mean, why limit us? I wish we had at least 3 more to choose, because the game already has broken combos, and I don't think adding 3 more will change anything. But overall, Expedition 33 is an amazing game, and I can see why everyone loves this game. I highly recommend getting it. So yeah, Expedition 33 is really good, and I can see the hype around it. But let's be honest here, it isn't peak. Oh, come on! How else am I supposed to transition to the... You know what? Roll the clip! Peak is such a simple game that just blew out of proportion because it really is that fun. You crash landed on a deserted island, you need to climb to Peak to get rescued, don't die. Simple, and yet it's so fun. Playing with friends is always chaotic, but then there's things like stamina, where you have certain energy to climb up, lose said stamina, and you'll be falling, worst case, to your death. Your stamina can actually deplete because of injuries, hunger, or even things like heat and coldness. Essentially, your stamina is also your health, so you need to tend to your injuries, eat food, and heck, some food can even give you more morale, aka temporary stamina, when needed. Of course, there's also things like hooks and ropes to climb said places better, and so on and so forth. What I'm trying to say here is, this game's goal is just to climb up, and it is so much chaotic and fun. I can see why this game sold 10 million copies. That is an achievement for a simple indie game. I keep saying simple, 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 because it just is. Even the devs didn't think it would blow up this much as it did today. Because if I tell you your goal is to climb up a mountain and win, it doesn't sound that enticing now, does it? And yet, it is so fun. And that fun is because of two elements: the chaos with your friends and the chaos with the environment. Friends and chaos goes hand in hand, so I don't need to dwell on why. But I will state at least this much. There's a system where you can reach your hand out to help the climber reach the top, making you climb in theory a bit higher than you originally can. But it also puts a stress of, will I make it? Will they make it? You're almost there! Oh no! And seeing the success and failure, the highs and lows, the drama is so exhilarating. And of course, proximity chat makes things so fun. When you just hear your friends just die from high heights. Lol. But then there's environments where things are tricky. From slippery walls to heat to cold to what the hell is that? Things get complicated that you have to plan whether to risk going to spores that will blast you away or poison leaves that depletes your stamina. I said it was a simple game, but that wasn't the whole truth, now was it? It is a simple, chaotic game, and it is so awesome. Peak is truly peak, and if you have friends to play it, it is so fun. Even playing solo is fun. I highly recommend getting it because, oh, I loved it. You know, playing with your friends is so fun. Of course, single player games are amazing. Last year is no exception to that. But having the chaos with your friends, having that ideas and having that creativity just merge, it is so enticing. But what if that creativity merge in a simulation? I am saying this now, the story sucks. I don't even know if the writing is terrible because of the writer or because they didn't care about the story at all. It is very clear that this game was prioritizing gameplay and maybe presentation over story. I think my biggest gripe is how the two characters talk. Miu, the introverted, and Zoe, the extroverted. And if you can guess how the introverted talks with extroverted in typical movie tropes, congrats! You pretty much sum up 75% of the interactions. Okay, maybe I'm being a bit harsh here, but the story isn't great. And oh boy, don't go playing this for story. Instead, the gameplay is pretty decent. It's clear they wanted to dive into sci-fi and fantasy world, and well, the gameplay is pretty vast and amazing. From the Tron vibe to shape-shifting to racing to whatever the hell this is. The game is fun and it is an utmost blast diving with your friends. Best part is only one of you need to buy the game, whereas others can download the free friend pass to play it. So bonus points for doing that, devs. I don't really know how to get into gameplay because it changes over and over, but if I had to sum it up, it's puzzle and action combined together. Sometimes focusing the puzzle more than action, and vice versa. But this is one of those where you need to play to understand how different each worlds are. It is very clear that gameplay was the main focus, and they wanted to add as many mechanics as they wanted to. And hell, it works! And I haven't even dived in presentation. It's solid. It does look like your typical Unreal Engine games, but I wouldn't call it negative, just neutral. but the environment and the world building, or should I say world buildings, are pretty great. And besides how it was implemented with the story, I love seeing new places over and over. Overall, I think this game does a fantastic job as a co-op game that wanted to try so many things. It just works. And not only it just works, it works well. I highly recommend playing it with a friend. Man, having friends is pretty solid. You can have chaos, you can have impact, you can just have the time of your life. But sometimes having your friends and comrades, things can happen. And those things, they can backstab you on a lonely, massive city. Return of the Obra Dinn premise is simple. There has been multiple deaths that happened in the ship, to the point no one survived at all. You have a stopwatch that goes back in time and replay the time of death. It's up to you to find out who is who and how each and everyone died. And as a Phoenix Wright fan who loves detective games and deduce things so easily, let me tell you, I absolutely suck at this game and I am an absolute idiot. I have no idea what I'm doing. Like, no joke, I think I only got 6 correct out of how many there was in my first try. You need to have good eyes, know the system and ranks, language one talks, and so much more to find out who is who and how they were murdered. You do get some hints, like when the picture is blurred, meaning you don't have all the details in the story to indicate who said person is, and the arrow implying how difficult the said solution could be. And this isn't to say that this game sucks because of me. No, if anything, this game is amazing of telling so many things in so little words, and puzzling things together feels so amazing. I am just not built for this game, sadly. I also love the presentation of 1-bit color in 3D space that is oh so cool. And the music is perfect for a mystery crime puzzle game. I wish I could show more and I can tell more about this game, but then we'll get into the spoiler territory and that's not something I want to do. So you have to trust me when I say this. I suck at this game. I genuinely do. But trying to figure out who did what and what did who and trying to deduce everything, it was so fun. I had the time of my life. I highly recommend getting this game. But be warned, you might suck as much, if not more, than I did. But you're gonna have fun. Man, Return of Obra Dinn is such an interesting concept, telling the story of an era that we never lived, but back in the past, and we can have a vivid imagination of how it was lived. But the opposite is also true. We can tell the story of the future, of how cool it will be, how nice will it be. But then there will be tales that will be also dystopian. Tales from the Borderlands is essentially a Borderlands Telltale game. Or to put it in another word, it's a visual novel-esque with QTE implemented. And while this is my first Telltale game, I was having fun playing it. Sure, QTEs are annoying, especially when you are just watching sad cutscenes, but I don't personally mind it as much. Though there were some quite annoying parts where I needed to retry over and over because I wasn't exact enough. I think that's my biggest complaint with the game, with the checkpoints sometimes being obnoxiously back from where you failed sometimes. but I didn't fail too many times, and I think most will have the same success/fair experience as me. But do keep in mind when you wanna dive into this. The presentation is, well, Borderlands, but I really do like the characters in the game, with you playing as Reese and Fiona. I do like their character, though it took me a while to get into Reese, but by the end of it, I enjoyed both characters equally. Actually, this is a good time to talk about the story because I won't dive into it cause, spoilers, but it happens after Borderlands 2 and the aftermath of the final boss, shall we say. But I will state this, I like the story. It wasn't anything mind-blowing, and one can say there were predictable moments like, God damn it, let me kill that characters that will be a pain in the neck later. But it was enjoyable and I really liked what was told. So kudos on the writers on that. Finally, voice acting. It's good. I don't know how else to say it, but the emotion, the storytelling and the clarity is spot on. I will say sometimes the conversation can be a bit too fast. Like if character A is talking, then B immediately replies without any gap to think what they were about to say. But that's more of a nitpick here. Overall, Tales of the Borderlands is pretty solid and I really like the story, voice acting and even QTE most of the times. I recommend it, preferably after you play Borderlands 2 though. Alright, quick lightning round before we announce our first winner. Ready? No Man's Sky, I'm really enjoying it and playing it in VR is fun, though it does take a while to get into it, at least in my opinion. Son of the Forest, survival, horror game, it has its charm. The scary thing can be scary. Sadly, the game isn't for me. Lords of the Fallen, cool concept of going between living and dead soul-like game. Sadly, again, it didn't click with me. Asphalt Legend is a cool racing game, but god, it has so many loot boxes and everything that it really made me not play this game. Which is such a shame cause the gameplay is fun, but pass. The Darkest File being the lawyer and solving crimes on who done it after World War II in Germany. Yeah, it has that. Actually, the whole premise is to bring justice to that group. And it is done well. And I honestly don't mind it as it is done historically. And solving crime is fun. I really want to beat the game when I have the time. Melty Blood type humanoid. I really enjoy the combat system and the characters behind them is fun, despite not knowing many of them. Sadly, the game isn't as active as I originally played, but it's great if you have friends who want to try new fighting games. The Farmer Was Replaced, simple game that helps you learn coding, and I learned coding, not fluently mind you, but enough to understand the functions. It's a good start to learn basic coding in my opinion. And finally, Egg. Whew, that was a lot of games. And I think it's time to present our first award winner. I'm gonna be honest, this time it was limited per se. There was a lot of non-2025 games I wanted to show even more, but I couldn't because it was planned for a bigger project that's coming out soonest, or I wanted to finish it before having a finalized opinion. With that said, a lot of games I've showed now, I'm still proud of it and I'm still happy that I still play games from previous years, even when I have limited time. But, as always, only one can win. So, the winner of the best non-2025 game goes to... Man, it was really worth my time. While the gameplay isn't anything massive, the story is phenomenal. The characters' lore, the presentation, and the ending. Man, this game was worth my time. The mental stress one should have to endure the time loop The character personality, the character development, the story, it's so amazing. I wish I could talk more without spoiling it. But I can't. So take this award as a indication that this game is truly amazing. Congratulations to Insert Desk 5 for winning Best Game None 2025. Thank you for making an amazing game. Now I'm gonna just put this down because I have no one else to give it again. Speaking of None 2025, I think it's time to present our one more guest for this year's award show. And his Game of the Year is also a game that did not come out in 2025. So, please welcome our returning guest once again, Evittion.
Hello there, my name is Evan Simmers, and 2025 has been quite an interesting year for gaming. We're at a point where newer games are getting to be quite an expensive investment, and where gaming is starting to become less accessible and more of a luxury than a hobby to pursue nowadays. Especially since the Switch 2 came out last year, and with that console's library being very, very expensive, it's not really something I can just simply afford in the snap of a finger. Which is why I've been dabbling more and more over the years on retro games. There's an old saying that people say when they reminisce about the past, and that saying is, they sure don't make them like they used to. Allow me to put some perspective on things. The gaming landscape had a major shift during the turn of the new millennium, and gaming was starting to get pretty serious. Microsoft launched their new Xbox console with Halo, Sony's PlayStation 2 was already out for a year with Grand Theft Auto 3, Metal Gear Solid 2, and Devil May Cry, and Nintendo launched their new console with the GameCube with Green Mario with a vacuum cleaner. Swinging it for the fences! When it comes down to it, Luigi's Mansion is one of those unique games that was heavily underappreciated when it first came out. This game, for being a short and sweet adventure, is some of the most satisfying experiences you could have in any other Nintendo game out there. The arcadey nature of collecting as much money as you can to rack up a large score is really satisfying. Luigi's Mansion 3 may be the best out of the trilogy in terms of content, but this one game has what the other two don't: its source of replayability and skill level. You really have to tug and pull back on the analog sticks to get as much suckage as possible, and considering that some of these little transparent turds put up a fight with you, needless to say, you're gonna have a bit of a struggle to get these guys. There's a bit of a learning curve for catching the ghost, as it requires trial and error for the most part, but when you do get the hang of it, it feels good. For a GameCube launch title, this game looks great with its lighting, transparency, and who could forget the greatest part of the technical marvel? Dust! There's barely any puzzles to solve, which is something that the sequels would make the series' identity, but the game will give you some moments to remember the adventure for. While it's a much different experience than your average Mario game, Luigi's Mansion is a really good game that's got some legitimate effort put into it. Some people called this a glorified tech demo, and while it began development as one, considering they tried to make a simple game out of a simple concept of Luigi getting to shine his own game and saving his brother Mario, it still holds up even after 20 years and deserves to be called a good game. Luigi, that's the 11th time you visit this hallway! Grow up here, man! Nintendo back in the 2000s was nothing short of being at the top of their game in terms of effort and passion in their games. And it's sad to say that Nintendo hasn't really been that same level of dedication and passion anymore. We can still enjoy a new release from them every once in a while, but at the end of it all, Nintendo hasn't exactly been delivering the magic and innovation that we're usually accustomed to. But that could change someday. Until then, I hope you guys and gals enjoyed 2026, and until then, I'll keep playing games. Goodbye!
Thank you, Evittion. You know, haunted house is a concept that's been done over and over, and yet people find cool ways to tell how the house is haunted. But just because a house is haunted doesn't mean it has to be scary. In fact, it could be cozy. Again, already made a video about it, so I will keep it short. But overall, I really like the relaxation behind this game. Decoration is not only for your own house, but others however you see fit is so satisfyingly fun. Of course, there are some times that they want exact what they want, but seeing their vision is also pretty interesting. I will say, while the choices you have to decorate is near limitless, you can't, say, have scattered open books or place books on top of the piano. But besides those, how you decorate is still near limitless. Also, the open world S-Hub is pretty fun to explore, and you can get, with in-game currency only, loot boxes that open for new furniture and decorations. There are some haunted, glitchy vibes happening around town, but it's not scary per se, rather mysterious and ominous would be the right words here. As someone who is a wuss when it comes to horror game, this is pretty tame. And finally, presentation is mwah. I love the pixel style. Honestly, if I ever make a Pixar style game, I always envision something like this. And the music is just good. Whisper in the House is a good, relaxing game. If you ever had that itch to decorate house or even houses with certain items or as limitless as you could do, try this game. It's pretty solid. Houses, houses, houses. You know, by looking at so many houses, you just want to go back to your home and decorate your own place, right? But what if, while you're traveling to go back to your home, the spaceship crashes to another planet? BOKURA Planet is another co-op puzzle game that you need to escape the planet by, well, solving puzzles. I'm seeing a certain pattern here. Jokes aside, it is clear you two are hiding something from each other. And as you try to understand others' highs and lows, you also get this philosophy question. Sometimes to the point that the thing we deduce, they throw away. Minor spoiler, friend and I deduced that we should pick up options so that we can keep an item, only for them to throw the item the very next scene. The puzzles are fun. It's a communication game where you two are separated and need to communicate what is happening on your screen and vice versa, using two brains together to solve said puzzles. So, I hope you both are good at puzzles, otherwise you'll be here for a long time. As for the presentation, it's alright. Nothing too big, but I do like the graphic and the music. It does its job, and honestly, that's a plus on my book. With that said, I have played the previous game from the same devs, BOKURA, and I do prefer BOKURA over BOKURA Planet. But BOKURA Planet is still a fun game. If you want a quick, say 1-2 session puzzle game to play with your friends, give this game a try. It's not gonna blow your mind, but it is a good game to maybe have a break from other games. Man, imagine that we could actually go from one planet to another just to see the tourism and habitat and culture. Unfortunately, we probably won't in our lifetime because of, well, lack of transportation to do so. But last year, this was not in my bingo card, where we can go to planets, worlds to worlds. Wow, racing. Man, I'm a big fan of Sonic Racing franchise, and I'm so happy that this one is the new addition to the table. But this one is more chaotic, to the point anything can happen in the race. from tornado to ghost fires to monster truck. Plus, you have better abilities, aka gears, to enhance your races, like better boost speed, or faster tricks, or getting monster truck at the beginning, god damn it! And yes, they do stack, but you're also trading a lot of spots for stacking. So it's a risk of limited but powerful abilities versus many but minor abilities to fight against. The racing itself is fun, and I do like most of the maps in the game, and playing with your friends is really fun, especially when events are happening where you play in teams and fight with certain challenges. Example, tapping your teammate vehicles to get extra boost, and the most tapped boosts get additional points, making them win the team race. And then the presentation and music, and well, I like it. I like some returning maps but with new fresher paint added to them, and new maps like Rainbow Garden is so colorful and fun to explore. Not to mention collab characters like Minecraft and SpongeBob SquarePants gets their own map, and honestly, bass. Also, can I just say the music in this game is fantastic. It really gets you grooving with the game. It also has collabs music like Hatsune Miku and Korone from Hololive. And you can have custom music album play in certain lap, aka first, second or final lap, which is such a cool thing to have. In fact, some characters are free DLCs like Hatsune Miku, Joker from Persona 5, and Ichiban Kasuga from Yakuza Like a Dragon. Sonic Multiverse is weird, yo. In fact, when new characters are added in the roster, an event is dedicated to them, is live, and you can get cool stuff like stickers and even nameplates. And then comes the negative. See, the events are only 3 days, and that is annoying. Especially when you are, an adult who needs to take care of life and such. I genuinely wish it was 5 to 7 days because honestly, only being 3 days makes me not want to do those events knowing the limited time I have to spend doing so. But even if that's the case, when events are running, you can only play events online. No normal rank mode, which is dumb. I don't think I need to explain why having limited choice when events is running isn't the smartest thing to do. And even then, you can only play with 3 other friends in online or events. There is lobby where you can have more than 3 friends to join you and race together. But then you can't race against strangers unless they also have said lobby code. Which, come on! There are times where I want to play with strangers but also have 4+ friends with me. Sega, just remove the room limit at least for normal online mode. And worst of all, yikes. This is why I never down someone buying games I can't endorse. I myself bought this $70, actually $80 for deluxe version pre-ordered. But objectively speaking, that is too much money for a racing game. So yeah, this is one of those games where you just have to wait for a sale because I can't recommend this for $70 plus more. This game is amazing and it is one of the best racing games I have played. But it is not worth $70. It has its ups and downs, but with amazing music, amazing racing and fun characters, Sonic Racing CrossWorlds is fun and I recommend it if you can get it. But definitely when it's on sale though. Playing with your friends is so fun. I rarely have time to do so because of time zone and everything, but when I do, it's fun. I really hope one day I could meet the friends I met in the internet, go around and have fun and have a blast offline and go on a bar and have some drinks. Though, I do also hope that while we're having drinks, the bartender in question isn't working with a detective. served cold is another, what I like to call, coffee talk like games. You know, make the drink that fits your character and talk with them. But this one has a twist. You need to find out about the murder. The murder has happened and you need to talk with your customers, talking about where they were, do you know this person, etc, etc. Maybe give them a drink to loosen their tongues, or buddy with them and make them trust you more. And each choices will either please or dislike you more and more. So be careful with your choice. I do like the wire connecting thing you have, trying to make sense and finding clues to ask next time. And lastly, I really like the art style. It fits the vibe of mystery detective game, and I'm all for it if the game clicked with me. I really did try to get into this game, but it just did not click with me. I think my problem resulted in how limited you have with someone each day, plus time limited to find as many clues as you could. It's realistic, sure, but then the problem comes when I want to ask something, but I'm not friendly enough to have that conversation, wasting my time and effort doing so. I want to preface that this is more of a me thing than the game. The game system works and I can see the people liking the realism around it. Unfortunately, I'm not one of them, and that sucks. But if you like coffee talk games, detective stories, and even realism in timing, give this game a try. Just because it didn't click with me doesn't mean the game isn't good. Now, I know some of you are saying skill issue and just go and like things, but cut me some slack. I have so many games to play that even I have preferences and I can't finish all the games I've played. But there's one argument I like to make about the whole skill issue thing actually, because there is one game that I have beaten from start to finish, and it is the emphasis on get good. Again, only made a video about it, so gonna keep this short. But overall, I love this game. I really like the exploration, the lore, and the combat system so much. The presentation is just awe-dropping, and the music, while I was debating which one I like more, Hollow Knight or Silksong, I think it's an amazing job. And when the music hooks, oh boy does it hook. The double damages is a hit or miss for me, because I do like foes having double damages. Heck, I like bosses having them too, but I don't like them all attacks being double, including accidentally colliding with them while they are standing still doing nothing. And the walk of shame is frustrating, like 3 to 5 minutes walk of shame frustrating, sometimes even more. I never understood the game design behind that, and it just muddies my opinion of this game. But overall, Silksong is a fantastic sequel of a game. I absolutely love it, and I cannot wait what Team Cherry has in store for us in the future. Man, who knew that tiny creatures could be able to fight gods? It's funny that it's always the supernaturals and you have to fight when you yourself are, well, usually not supernatural. But before you even fight the leader, you have to fight all the minions. You have to dive deeper and deeper just to get to the final boss room. But what if you got teleported to another world? What if you had to fight the same minions and the supernatural being? And what if you had to fight them with music? Once again, Ollie made a video about this, I guess I made too many videos, huh? But again, I will keep this short. Last year, this one has been my best rhythm game ever. Period. I love the new art style Brace Yourself devs decided. The gameplay, while taking a risk to difference from the predecessor, Crypt of the Necrodancer, is still a blast, taking the patterns of the enemies into consideration for familiarities. The music, of course, is a banger and I cannot stop hearing them non-stop. Like seriously, my Spotify account is questioning my music taste by this point. And while I wish they expanded the story with more characters, what we got is pretty good. Not anything mind-blowing, but fun and interesting to see the characters with their personalities. My only complaint with the gameplay is that there is no note speed, which took me quite a while to get used to. Heck, I'm not even sure I still do, to be honest. But that is more of a nitpick, as how does one change the note speed when the pattern of the enemy is needed to be considered? I'm asking this genuinely because I don't know. They have added so many DLCs, aka collabs from other games, and even Hololive and Hatsune Miku music. It's like they are printing money. And I am giving them said money because I have all the DLCs. Listen, I want to support the devs, okay? Plus they are fun, okay? And it seems there will be even more DLCs planned for this game, which I am 100% up for it. Keep in mind, every time they announce a DLC pack, one music from that pack is a free music that anyone can download. So non-buyers aren't left out completely, which honestly, I'm happy they do this. But I can hear the argument that maybe there should be a free DLC packs as well instead of 1 of 5 every time, but I digress. With that said, Workshop aka community made maps are completely free and even endorsed and inspired by the team. For example, Custom Portrait was implemented officially by the devs, which was more so used for community maps with custom characters. So that is pretty cool. Overall, I really love Crypt of the Necrodancer and I am so glad that this game came to my life. I highly recommend this game. Man, beating someone up in rhythm is always fun. Yes, it's not the first time, but it is welcoming. In game, please do not do that in real life. That's battery and assault. But music isn't only used to beat someone up. It is used to energize, bring the morale, bring a implication, a emotion in a scene. And it can also be used to heal people. Rhythm Doctor finally got out of early access and got full release last month. After months of no updates! I am still peeved not getting regular updates, but the game did come out. So I cannot blame them entirely. And oh boy, does this game go hard. Rhythm Doctor's concept is simple. You press the button on the 7th beat. Sometimes they do changes like the SVT or holding said note, but the end result is the same. Tap on the 7th beat or the final beat. I did talk about why I love this game, 2 times in fact, but it comes down to 4 things. 1, the music is great, and with collabs like Musedats and Beats and Bobs, it's a great addition. Not to belittle the original music or far from it. To say it's pop, it's an understatement. I love the music, and I want more when possible. 2, the presentation is fun, and I always love pixel style games. I can't really say much because I don't know how to extend my love for this kind of art style, so you just have to trust me when I say I love the vibe this game gives, and I hope to see more of it from this devs and others too. 3, the gameplay. The gameplay, like I said, you need to hit the button on the 7th beat. But sometimes you need to take care of not only 1, but 2, maybe 4 at the same time. And it can get chaotic. As a musician, I had to trust my musical instinct to get to the groove and even then, some took me a lot of tries to handle. So failure will be a thing. Not saying this is a bad thing, but get ready to be frustrated, which may or may not lower your opinion for this game. Personally, not for me, but again, up to you. But then when you see things like this, oh, it is so good. I had to record this on one monitor, but you could just extend it to all monitors. And let me tell you, it's a doozy for all the right reasons. I have never seen a rhythm, nay, a game ever do this. Sure, one sort did this before, but never to this extent. Which comes to the fourth point, the story. And while the story isn't a masterpiece, it is amazing. I really like the story they portrayed, and I love how each character has their highs and lows. I won't say much because spoilers, but trust me when I say this. While it won't win any awards, I really like the story, and the writer or writers for said story should be proud of what they wrote. Overall, while I did say Rift of the Necrodancer was my favorite rhythm game, this is a very close second, and I highly recommend getting this game. And hey, it also has its own Steam Workshop too, so the music choice is very vast and cool. Music is amazing. Sometimes it's part of the background, sometimes it is the game, and sometimes not having one can be deafening. But what if deafening was your only option? What if you cannot make music? What if music was illegal? This is the final rhythm game I played for 2025. Sorry, Pits and Bobs, I do not have time for you. I promise you will be in Weirdo Award 2026. I promise! And if Rift of the Necrodancer would be gameplay focused and Rhythm Doctor Savvy Say is mechanical focused, Unbeatable is story focused game. Each gameplay is divided in chapters or episodes, and each episode takes place in new location, from how they met to how they form a band, etc. etc. I will say this now, not everyone is gonna like this story, not because what they are showing, but most of the tonality behind it. I think raw is the most right word to use here. From a lot of swearings to being asshats to each other to just violence being the first answer to everything. I'm gonna be honest, I was put off by that sometimes as well. But from how much I have played, the story is pretty great. It focuses on the main girl, Beat, and the story is revolving around her. Not to say she only gets the spotlight, but you will be seeing most of the story in her point of view. From what I have played. Yeah, we'll get back to that. I do like the presentation being 2D sprite in a 3D world. It did take a bit for me to adjust, say, running animation from time to time, but other than that, I personally like it. And I love the cutscene. It's fun, it's cool, it's amazing. And with the world building as to why music is illegal and how people move on from that is interesting and fun to see what it entails. And finally, gameplay. It's nothing new. 2 buttons to attack and dodge, up and down. This is the same format same Mustache also uses, but also does opposite side as well. And you know what? That's totally fine. If it ain't broke, don't fix it, right? So, I'll talk about the music you get, and holy moly, the music are bopping. I really like the cutscenes when transitions to gameplay, giving the vibe on how music is being portrayed, and it just works. So Unbeatable is amazing. fun, and honestly, I cannot wait to beat the story. When they fix some bugs. I hate being that guy, especially since I like this game, but you might want to wait buying this game. Small disclaimer, I stopped playing this around 3rd week of December, but oh my goodness, there were so many bugs. Some bugs just stopped me from progressing the game, and some just crashed the game without crashing the game. Like, there was a moment where I was just watching a cutscene and then black screen. I thought for a few moments that it was part of the cutscene, but no, the game crashed. So I had to restart and rewatch the whole cutscene all over again. And that was frustrating. It got frustrating that I had to stop playing because it was just ruining my mood. And what's boggling me is that they did had QA testers. We have evidence of this. Because this game did get delayed by 1 month because they found a massive bug in a console port. But then, why was there so many other bugs, at least in PC port, that was so easy to find? I am not gonna give them a hard time because it wasn't a make or break for me. But it was frustrating that I want to wait before playing this again. And credit where credit is due, from what I'm seeing, they are fixing bugs reported via Discord. But as a consumer, I will regrettably have to say, wait until the next big Steam sale. Hopefully by then, they will squash all the massive bugs. But other than that, Unbeatable is an amazing game with beautiful yet raw presentation about finding yourself, the mental struggle, and making music when music is illegal. I recommend getting this game after a bit of time. You know, I've been talking a lot about time this year. Oh, the time loop is a thing. Oh, timing is very important in rhythm game. Oh, take your time and relax. Time. Can't we have a moment to just stop time? Well, there's one girl who wants to actually kill time. Death to Chronos. That is the hook for this game, and that is your driving factor. The game starts with Millenoi. Trust me, that took me forever to say that. And your objective is clear. Go back to your old house that was raided by Chrono, god of time, and kill him once and for all. As you can tell, this is a story about revenge, but there's a bit more complications as you progress. Again, I won't dive into because spoilers, so I instead will tell you my overall opinion. The story is great. I like what we got, and the diving factor is always fun. I think I can safely say I like this a bit more than Hades 1, but honestly, the story is pretty similar in terms of likeness, so I digress. They do also have another map where instead of going down, you go up to heavens, but that is for you to find out why. I do like characters' interaction. The voice acting is perfect and the chit-chat feels human, but back then? I think that's the best way to explain it, and it does feel natural on the settings we are to assume. Minus the modern English, of course. And then comes the presentation, which, oh boy! Remember how Hades 1 makes everyone temporarily bisexual? Yeah, this one amps up a bit more. Don't boo me! I'm right! The artwork is amazing and I love the character design and the revamp so much, and also the lore behind said characters. Of course, it helps that this is based on Greek mythology, but how they are represented in this game feels justified. Honestly, I like Millenoi a lot. Having a new main character for a franchise can be tricky, especially when Jackaris is already a lovable character. But Millenoi is also likable for same and different reasons. I can't put my finger as to why, but her personality does shine, which helps making other characters shine as well, and vice versa. There's her mentor, Hecate, new people like, oh god, Silksong, Echo, Moros, familiar characters like Zeus, Apollo, Chaos, who I love the new design so much, Dementor, and holy Aphrodite, I cannot throw this on YouTube. Look, this might be a hot take, but Aphrodite and one other god makes me question why this game is rated teen. Oh, and of course, the music is great. I will say I do zone it out when playing the game, but when certain part hits, it hits hard, and I groove with it. I wouldn't say it's a hit or miss, but rather it does a good job being a background music, and being a forefront when it wants to, if that makes sense. Which then comes down to gameplay, and well, it's really fun. There's now a mana system, in which when you do a special and or heavy attacks, you use your mana. You don't start any regen for said mana, it just refills after each stage. But eventually you can get it, and it's your best interest that you get it, cause oh boy, do you need it. This game is hard, but once you get the rhythm, you get the rhythm, and you can clear each run easily by then. I will say Heaven part took me a while to get used to, but once I did, I just finished it seamlessly as well. You do get challenge mode like last time to make it more difficult, but there's also chaos mode where you want to go to a certain floor with certain conditions like selected weapons and whatnot. Speaking of weapons, I really like the new weapons in this game, and my favorite is the scythes. Not to mention you have Arcana, which helps you during your run, and look, I can go on and on why I love this game, but I have to stop somewhere, so I will stop here. Hades 2 is a very fun roguelike, and I love everything behind it. The story is great, the presentation is fantastic, and the gameplay, as last time, is fun, fun, fun. I highly recommend getting Hades 2, and if it helps, you can get into it without playing the first one. Though you will get a slight spoiler on certain things, but I digress. Hades 2 is fun, try it. Alright, one more quick lightning round before we present the last two awards. Ready? Keylocker, turn-based bird view RPG where you are in a cyberpunk world. Love the concept and I see the labor of love. Sadly, not for me. Cornelius, Dimension Girl, a platforming girl with VTuber inside the said robot. Yeah, it's weird. Yeah, it's fun. Megabunk, 3D bullet heaven game that wants you to break the game. So fun, but man, is it time consuming. Highly recommended. Real world, an open world bike game where you can have cozy time and get serious in races and more. I like it, highly recommend. Letter Witch in the Wood, fun cozy alchemy and gathering game. Honestly, I did not think I would click as much as I originally did. I love it and I want to get more into it. Recommend for sure. Blueprints, roguelike room exploring game where everything is a puzzle. So fun, so mind-boggling, I love it. Highly recommend to roguelike and puzzle-loving gamers. That How, a Dark Souls roguelike card building game. Again, did not click with me, which is such a shame because the game looks amazing. Face of Parade, a cute all-age rhythm heaven-like game. I love it, though some maps could be hard for non-musicians / kids. With that said, still recommend because it's fun. Nitro Express, Metro Slug inspired game. It has its own charm and I love it. Highly recommended. And finally, Me-Side, a game that is more than it shows. I can't say more, but I like what I played. Recommend for those who can handle it. Oh. That's all the games I wanted to talk about this year. So, you know what that means. It's awards time. Last year was amazing. There were so many of my favorites. Even in lightning rounds, there were some games I wanted to go more in detail, but I could not because, well, this video is longer than it already should be. There's so many favorites I have from last year, and picking some just for these awards weren't easy. It wasn't, but I made my decision. So, ladies and gentlemen, the winner of the best game 2025 goes to Death to Chronos. When I started playing this game, I could not stop until I reached the end, and I was so satisfied with the ending. After patch, I was lucky not to play the controversial previous ending, it seems. But besides that, I loved the music, the presentation was gorgeous, and the story was pretty solid. And finally, the gameplay, making me learn, and when I lock in their patterns, oh, it's satisfying to say the least. I know it's a roguelike, but having the sense of I can do it, and then you did it feels so amazing. It's really hard to describe why I like Hades 2, why I like these kind of games, but if I had to explain it in words as best as I can, Hades 2 did everything right and more. And that is a very good reason why I want to give this award. So, congratulations to Supergiant's Game for winning Best Game 2025. What an amazing game that I love. And yet, there was one game I love playing more. Third year. This is the third year I'm running this game award, so. You know, at the beginning of the year 2025, I thought there won't be any amazing games that blew my mind. And yet, one game blew my mind, then another, then another, then another, and there was so many that was amazing. So, picking the favorite, the best game overall, it was heartbreaking. But I have made my decision. From countless, so many amazing games, only one can win the favorite. And the decision I made has been finalized. So, ladies and gentlemen, the winner of the best overall game 2025 goes to for those who come out. You know, I always thought that I was the black sheep in the gaming community when it comes to the Game of the Year. From last two Game Awards, the winner wasn't even anything many hasn't heard of. But this, I'm happy to say, I agree with majority. This game is my Game of the Year. I think no one is surprised that this game won Best Overall Game 2025. But the fact no one is surprised screams why this game is amazing. Masterful presentation, masterful music, masterful story, masterful gameplay. Is it perfect? Absolutely not. I only talked about bad UI, some gameplay decisions I did not like, and the Unreal Engine vibes it gives at times. But this game is just amazing, fabulous, and I love every moment of this game. It did so many things right, and more, and more, and more. There were amazing moments that I loved as much as this one. Silksong was fantastic. Rift of the Necrodancer was one of my favorite rhythm games. And Rhythm Doctor broke so many mechanics that I want more and more and more. But with a masterpiece of presentation, music, gameplay, and yes, story, Clair Obscur Expedition 33 wins Best Game Overall 2025. Congratulations to Sandsfall Interactive. You absolutely deserve this. Thank you for making a masterpiece game and letting me play it. And congratulations to other two winners for winning this award. If you want to get this, please contact me via email or other means and we'll get something communicated and transfer something. And thank you to other devs for making such amazing games that I played last year, and I cannot wait to see future games that I will be playing. But that's all for this show. Thank you so much for watching Weirdo Award 2025. I have been Weirdo Maxim and you have been watching. Until next time, be sure to like, comment and subscribe. Bye!